Here's Broadway Maven Student Scholar Sheva Schwartz.
How does composer Stephen Sondheim draw on painter Georges Seurat? Let me connect the dots. Between 1884 and 1886, the French painter Georges Seurat completed what would become his best-known work, titled A Sunday on la Grande Jatte. Its relevance to the artistically minded public only grew when in 1984, Stephen Sondheim and James Lapine's new musical called Sunday in the Park with George hit the Broadway stage. Sunday envisioned a fictionalized world based off Seurat and the figures in his painting. But beyond the musical setting and characters, how does the music of Sunday reflect Seurat's artistic style? To answer this, let's take a closer look at Seurat's methods. Seurat was heavily influenced by the theory of optical mixture, which posits that the mixing of color optically, or in the eye, creates a different, more vibrant effect than that of color mixed manually on a palette. Seurat had 12 paint colors on his palette, and only mixed paints that were directly next to each other. For example, yellow could be mixed with yellow-orange or yellow-green, but not with violet or blue. Seurat used tiny brushstrokes of these basic colors, layered and intertwined, to allow the eye to discern a wide variety of shades when viewing the painting at a distance. This style came to be known as pointillism. So how did Sondheim integrate his research on Seurat into Sunday? The third musical number, Color and Light, gives us insight. The opening music of Color and Light mirrors the physical act of repeatedly painting small dots. As the character George dabs paint, the accompaniment plays this figure. The score is marked sempre staccato, or always detached, and the continuous sharp notes line up with the rhythm of George's brushstrokes on stage. But what's happening harmonically here? The main line of the accompaniment alternates between the interval of a major third and a minor third. These two intervals are diametrically opposed in music. The major third is the defining interval of the major chord. Hear how a major chord is built from it by adding just one other note. Any piece which is played in this key of B-flat major would, in the classical tradition, begin and end with this major chord. It functions as a home base. On the other hand, the minor third implies a minor key which has an entirely different color and mood from the major. This chord, built on the minor third, would be the home base for music set in B-flat minor. So, what key is Color and Light in? By obstinately alternating between major and minor thirds, Sondheim obscures the listener's sense of key. We don't have a home base. Instead, we as listeners are made to hear the juxtaposition of the two fundamentally opposing tonal qualities which exist in music. That the juxtaposition of key itself creates the auditory effect is a musical parallel to Seurat's painting technique. In A Sunday on la Grande Jatte, homogeneous use of color is replaced by the coexistence of divergent colors, which shimmer and live vividly in the viewer's perception. This small peek into the musical score of Sunday demonstrates that just as Seurat centralized the role of audience perception in art, Sondheim used juxtaposition to forge a musical quality which, in its ambiguity, contains an invitation to the audience to listen boldly and forgo reliance on the clean delineations of harmony. Ultimately, Georges Seurat and Stephen Sondheim did more than create. They redefined how we experience stories through art. Seurat's detailed use of tiny, distinct dots expanded our understanding of how images influence emotion, while Sondheim's innovative musical compositions in Sunday in the Park with George pushed the boundaries of how a story can be told in musical theater. Their work demonstrates that art isn't just seen or heard, it's experienced.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Marquee is a free weekly Broadway appreciation newsletter with essays, reviews, piano talks, Broadway blasts, quizzes, and more. Sign up for the complimentary or premium edition and learn about all classes and projects at thebroadwaymaven.com. And here's a Stephen Sondheim playlist.